All right, everyone, we're going to introduce you to the movement prep series for the overhead squat. Now, if you went through the AMI and found that you had some movement quality deficits in the overhead squat, this is for you. What we're going to start off with is a band. Now, this is an elastic band. You should be able to find this at your school. If not, it's made by TheraBand, and we're going to put this around your ankles. Our first exercise in our movement prep series for the overhead squat is a lateral band walk. This is going to target our hip strength that keeps our knee and our upper back in line. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our feet about shoulder width apart to start. You're going to have the band on tension. You're going to perform a small squat, maybe 2 inches down, pushing your butt back first. This is going to turn our glutes and our hamstrings on. From here, you're going to start taking some lateral steps sideways, keeping tension on the band. Okay, let's take a couple steps. Good. And then you're going to come backwards. Now, eventually you'll start feeling your hips burning pretty good in the back of your hips. You will go with this one maybe about 10 or 15 steps to one side and then 10 or 15 sides back. What I want you to really focus on is when you start walking sideways, two things will happen. First, you'll want to turn your toes out. Really limit that and keep your toes straight forward. That's a really easy compensation that most people do. Secondly, most people will let their knees cave in. Okay, I'll show what that looks like. So knees will cave in or our toes will turn out as we start walking. Two simple compensations that we need to correct for with this to show perfect movement. Toes need to go straight forward, knees in line with the feet. Okay? Couple steps down and back until you feel your hips working pretty good. Try that at home. All right, everyone, our next step for the overhead squat movement prep series is going to be our single leg kick out to the side with the TheraBand around our ankles. What this is going to do is really challenge our body to stay stable when we go from a double leg to a single leg stance. What we're going to do to start off is we're going to go into a single leg stance. We're going to perform a small squat by pushing our hips back first and now kicking out to the side. As you can see with this, it challenges the body to stay stable on one foot. What we don't want to see is as you kick over to the side, we don't want that knee to roll in. Keep the knee straight in line, just like that. I'm not as worried about how far you kick out to the side. I'm more worried about what's happening on the stance leg. Couple things to think about. We're not just looking at the lower body. I want to know what's happening on the upper body too, because this is aimed at helping our overhead squat position. So let's look at this from the side. Whenever Dorn goes into this single leg stance, we get the hips to go back first, so we're initiating our glutes and our hamstrings, which is going to make us stronger. Our back is in a good position right here. What I don't want is to collapse over, because that's not going to help us whenever we try to overhead squat again. We're in a good position with our back. We're squeezing our core. We're bracing well. That's going to get our core stability in. We're kicking out to the side. Good. The entire time, staying nice and stable with that. Very good. And back. So usually I like to do this for higher reps because we're trying to correct for some movement problems that we're seeing in the overhead squat. Try this at home. And this is the third step in our overhead squat movement prep series. What we're going to do is you've already done your lateral band walks, you've already done the kicks out to the side, now it's time to learn a small single leg squat. You've already got the band around your ankles, so let's just leave them there. You're going to go into a small single leg squat to start, pick your leg up, and then perform a small squat. As you can see, the squat is initiated with the hips driving back, the chest coming forward so that our balance is right in the middle of our foot, and we keep our knee centered. Now, as you can see, as it goes down, the knee stays centered and back up. As you get better at this, you can go deeper. So, a couple problems that a lot of people do. As you squat down, it's easy for the knee to roll in. Let's see what that looks like. That knee needs to stay straight in line. Good, just like that. The foot stays flat the entire time. Let's look at this from the side point of view. Like we said before, the hips have to translate back off the start so we get the glutes involved. Good, and then back. As you can see, the knee doesn't start this movement, the hip does. Hips go back, then the knee moves eventually, okay? If we do this wrong and our knee goes forward first, good, now start the squat, there you go. Whenever our knee starts the movement first, it puts a lot of pressure in the knee, okay? It's not a very strong position, and if you have any pain already, it's going to make it even worse. So, hips start the movement, knees follow. Try to keep the shin fairly vertical during the squat. Eventually the knee will come forward, but only when we reach a different depth. Okay? Try that at home.